Good morning, friends. On the last video, I got this great question from BanAaron in the comments that said, "What are those giant yellow and red lines for? I can guess the red one is to see where the 80 character limit is, but the yellow one over where the every caret is looks really annoying." So I assume that BanAaron refers to these lines, the yellow lines up and down, and I'm going to explain why I added those and what the purpose of them are. So, in my day job as an engineer, I end up sharing code a lot, whether it's in pair programming or in meetings or in presentations. And I'm the kind of person that really cares about the delivery I make and the impact that I have. And so I've often asked people, since I'm the only Vim user at the company, whether it's possible to follow my presentations and if it's something that resonates with them. And one of the feedbacks that I used to get in the beginning was that it was easy to follow the general concept of what I was doing, but there was a lot of jumping around and it was hard to see what exactly I was doing at a given moment. And so I went on a bit of a journey to try and make that better. And one of the main things I realized was that for people that are not used to navigating with the keyboard, it can be very difficult to follow the cursor. People are used to follow a mouse, but when I jump around like this in the code, people found it very difficult to see what I was actually doing or where I was actually editing. And so as an experiment, I went in and added these cursor column and cursor line highlights, faint highlights to just show where I'm at so that when I jump around, there's no question where I'm currently editing. Funnily enough, I put this on a toggle and I turned it off by default, and I kept using it normal, except for when I was doing presentations, and then I would turn it on. But after a while, I realized that actually especially this cursor column highlight, is actually kind of useful to see where am I going to end up exactly, especially when jumping across a whole screen. Of course, with this huge font size, I cannot make such big jumps, but you can imagine that if you're jumping across a screen, it can be handy to see at a glance at what column you're going to land. And also, I find myself just using those guides myself for my eyes to more quickly locate where my cursor was when I, for example, switch buffers or windows. And so overall, it just reduced mental overload as well. I can see where someone could say that this is ugly, and honestly, I don't really care about whether my setup is ugly. I only want it to feel smooth and be very productive. That said, this particular value I haven't changed since I first set it up, and in fact, you can see these to-do comments still in here. So I'm going to just very gradually decrease the saturation of these just to make the lines just a little bit less powerful. Maybe I'll move it down even to 2A. And that should make a tiny difference for the viewers to find that very annoying. But at the same time, this is useful for me, and I do think that it helps, especially when you're following someone else that is editing, to locate their cursor more quickly as it moves around the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this answered the question. Please have a wonderful day.